Alas, poor Hamlet. I knew him Criterion. Hey there, it's me, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection Reviewer Guy, with number 82, Laurence Olivier's Hamlet. Once again, without a case, because Sousa Pacific don't know no better. Hey, the case version, I guess, from Folsom is on its way. It's a little too late, yo. So, anyway. Well, what can you say? It's Hamlet, it's Olivier, it's gonna be fucking long. In fact, it's actually a couple minutes longer than Henry V, which was our first Olivier voyeur into the foray into the world of Shakespeare. And this one, I'd like to say, is a little bit of an improvement. Well, it's hard to say. It's like, you know, it's like a double-edged sword, if you will. But you know the plot. I mean, the plot, I can't really, the plot is like, Hamlet's grieving about his dad's death, and, the king Claudius killed him, and his mother's weird, and he's in love with Ophelia, who goes crazy after Hamlet accidentally kills his father, and then they die, and it gets cut with the blood and the poison and the blah blah. See, it's hard to, like I said, it's hard to, talk about the plot of a movie that pretty much, everybody knows. A lot of people know the story of Hamlet, the plays, from the plays. So basically, mostly, if we're going to talk about anything, let's just talk about the movie itself. I think the one thing that most people, the first thing that most people notice about this film is that it's 2.5 hours long. And the play usually takes about 4 hours to perform, at least about 4-hour play. I think, but I think the biggest change, because obviously Olivier had to cut dialogue and things, is that he totally cut out any mention of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, two of the more popular characters in the film. So popular that they got their own little Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. They got their own subculture of fans, writing their own little plays about them and whatnot. So, it's like, that's interesting. But I guess they did bring a bit of a political edge to it, and so Olivier decided to just focus on Hamlet himself, which is a little, just to be honest, is a little bit like, a little egotistical. I mean, I know everybody loves Olivier and think he's one of the greatest actors, but you're already directing it and producing it, and you're starring in it. It's like, do you really have to make the movie even more about yourself by not cutting anything you're saying? I mean, I think of course there are scenes that where Hamlet speaks and that had to be cut, of course, with exchanges he has with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. But yeah, it feels a lot more empty. Definitely feels a lot emptier without them. And can't say, the play doesn't really suffer from it, but it's definitely a whole nother thing. As far as Olivier, of course, as far as Olivier's performance is concerned, I feel like personally he starts off pretty damn well with Hamlet. He's very moody, very just morose, very just dead inside. But by the end, by the duel scene, it just seems a little too overacted with some of the yelling, some of the. In fact, I'll read you some of the dialogue. That's the thing about me and Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare, but if I'm gonna watch it, it's gonna help me if I'm able to follow along. So I dug out Volume 3 of the Complete Works of Shakespeare. This is I forget who the publisher is, but Bantam, yeah. And which has Hamlet in it, and so I tried to follow along, and of course that was a wash because Olivier didn't follow this script. I mean, cutting the dialogue out is one thing, but switching the scenes around, that just that kind of bit at me, because I ended up having to follow look online and use the find search thing and keywords and find out where I was in the play. Ridiculous. Anyway, there's There's one scene toward the end. Yeah, basically the last scene where he jumps and kills the king. That was just a little too luscious, and he just yells that line. Where is it? Where's the line? Here's the line. Where's the line? The point in Venom 2, then Venom to thy work. There's no exclamation point there. There's no exclamation point after the word Venom to thy work. But he has the gall, the audacity, and the egotistical acting skills to yell, to thy work! And he stabs him. And then there's this weird shot of him like reversing the shot to look like he actually stabbed him, and it's just like, that's just kind of what, huh, you know. So yeah, there's just bits like that, and just a lot of yelling, a lot of toward the end that just kind of like was like, okay, Olivier, okay, you could stop now. You know? And then Olivier apparently playing the part of the ghost of his father was kind of, you know, they could have gotten a really awesome voice actor at the time. I mean, I'm not sure who. It was 1948. I think it was 1948. So yeah, they could. I'm sure there was somebody out there. I mean, not Orson Welles. Don't get Orson Welles. No, Orson Welles would be awesome. Yeah, but still, I mean, it's like you got to play two. If you got to play two roles in the film and produce and direct it, but yeah. So there you go. However, Patrick Troughton, Doctor Number 2, is in the film, but he cut his dialogue though. In the scene where Patrick Troughton, you know, the second Doctor from Doctor Who, is in the scene with where Hamlet puts on the play for King Claudius and the Queen. Patrick Troughton plays the player king, who I guess dies, who plays the pantomime and dies at the hands of his brother. And yeah, it's just, and like I was trying to watch the scene, and I was like waiting for his dialogue because there's like a whole text for the player king when he comes on, and instead he just dies, and it's like, you know, I guess they had to cut it because audiences could figure out that he was trying to get jealous, and it's just like, come on now, give a doctor some dialogue. Of course, they did give a doctor some dialogue. They gave Peter Cushing dialogue as Osric, friggin', you know, foppy man, friggin' fake doctor, Doctor Who, what? He's not Doctor Who, he's Doctor What. Peter Cushing, for those of you who don't know, played the Doctor in Doctor Who and the Daleks and Dalek Invasion 2150 AD, I think. Or the two film adaptations that had nothing to do with the canonicity of the actual TV show, but were kind of supposed to be like separate film adaptations of two stories from the show. Yeah, but yeah, he's not considered part of the actual, you know, thing, because obviously the TV show is the mainstay. But anyway, so yeah, that's apart from that, I mean, like I said, that's pretty much all I could say about this. I think cutting the dialogue really, you know, kind of hurt the film, but I think more so just flipping everything around. And I can't help but think about how wonderful Branagh's 96 mix was of Hamlet. I mean, just like the ideas, I think, like, especially the to be or not to be scene. You know, Olivier standing on top of the castle, like looking over above the sea, was kind of weird. Yet Branagh, you know, does that scene where it looks like he's looking in the mirror. You see him perform it in the mirror. And that's just a little touch of genius that just kind of like, this is kind of just interesting. He doesn't have the waves, which I love the sound of waves, but over the dialogue, just kind of a little distracting. Whereas, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Branagh, but I believe there's no dialogue in that scene. I mean, there's no music in that scene. So you just hear him standing. You just see him standing. To be or not to be. It just says just drag shit in there. Anyway. So, yep, that's Hamlet for you. What do I give it? I think it's, an improvement from, I mean, as far as between watching Richard III and Hamlet, I would go with Hamlet because the story is a lot easier to follow, and and I think there is a story. Richard III was just I couldn't follow Richard III, honestly. I feel like those battle scenes really took it out of it, so I will give Hamlet a B+. Give Hamlet a B+ because, like I said, cut dialogue and flipping the script all around, and a little bit of overacting just kind of didn't make it an ace for me. So, but it's good. It's a pretty good adaptation of Hamlet, and definitely the one to go to. Definitely the one that most people went to until Brian. I would prefer you watch this before you watch Branagh's version, or actually first read the play. Read the play on your own, or watch it on the screen. Watch it on watching production of it, a full text production, or listen to the audio play or something like that, and then watch this, and then watch Branagh's version, and see how it all came together at the end. So yeah, B+. Hamlet, check it out. Not gonna throw it because there's no disc. All right, so that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Let's talk about the future. Tomorrow, Jimmy Cliff and The Harder They Come, number 83. And then so what else we got? Hang on a second here. We got 84, Good Morning, coming on Tuesday. If I can get this freaking slip off, let's just take the tape off here. These things I should have prepared before I did the review, but screw it. Screw it. Look, it's Good Morning. Look, it's Good Morning. You can see the word good. By the time we get to the review, this will be gone, and you can see the cover in all its glory and wonderfulness. And then 85, Pygmalion. There's Pygmalion. And then Alexander Nevsky and Ivan the Terrible Part 2 are on their way, or hopefully they'll be on. I think Alexander Nevsky's in transit, so hopefully I'll get that this week, as well as hopefully Ivan the Terrible. Now, because I'm not sure how Ivan the Terrible Part 1 plays into it, but I guess 88 is Ivan the Terrible Part 2. So, obviously I have to watch Part 1 first. I'm going to go in Part 1, but when we get to number 88, it'll be more or less about Part 2, with just a little touch on Part 1, just to see if relating to Part 1 will relate, if Part 1 will relate anyway to Part 2. So we'll get to those. And then Sisters is on its way, and then Qui-Gon, then The Blob, which just happened to be sitting at the shelf at the library. So that's number 91. Then sometime, 2 weeks from now, we'll probably get to number 94, I Know Where I'm Going. And then we're just slowly making our way up to number 100. And then the season is over. And, yeah, that's it. So, wait a minute. One last thing before we finish up here. Let's just go and get this over with. Let's show off the Criterion Collection. So, as many of you know, the July Barnes & Noble Criterion Collection sale is on right now. So, basically, I've taken it into myself to splurge myself a little bit. So I'll just show you the 3 I've gotten so far. It runs till the 28th, and of course, 50%. It's 50% off all Criterion Collection titles, including Blu-ray, which is awesome. Because that way I could get. Well, first I'll show you. Of course, I got the greatest. Quite possibly the greatest. Finally got me some High and Low. And we'll just. What can you? I've already talked about how awesome High and Low is. I can't wait to watch this one again. And then I decided to go with Sanjuro because it's more. I just realized I just bought 2 Akira Kurosawa movies. He might be my favorite director now. I'm liking him. I mean, he's awesome, and I don't mind watching these long. That It Is Wonderful to Create series. I loved watching those actually, especially when he talks about those, because they're so informative, and they're like they really tell you what should be known about the film, which is awesome. And then this might make me a little bit of a hipster, but I had to get it. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. You know, so I had to get it because he thought, because who knows if this is going to be in, you know, print. Who knows how long this is going to be in print. So anyway, there's that. So there's that. And that's, you know, that's what I got. So my Criterion collection is growing. Oh, and of course, speaking of Olivier, to number 213, not 211, 213. It's going to happen so soon, in a year or two, maybe sometime next year or 2 years from now or whenever it happens. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So basically, oh, one more thing. Let's talk about one more thing. A couple days ago, I was checking the comments, and you know, because some of you have been nice enough to leave me comments on the pages, which I thank everyone for doing so, because it helps me, you know, think about what I should be talking about and how I should be, you know, building these. And someone actually mentioned on the Clio from 5 to 7, you know, when I first made the announcement that I was going to be taking a break after number 100, that I should do like some kind of recap video, and I will be doing that. I always planned on doing something like that. I'm thinking of doing like some kind of like discussion about the first 100 films and like the decisions that Criterion made, like try to analyze their decision to pick some of those. But more to the point, I want to do some kind of Criterion Collection Showdown, something where like I pick my top 28 favorite films of the first 100. 28 because that's my favorite number, and you see the title is Criterion Reviews 28, so you know I thought 28 is the magic number. So anyway, yeah, so that'll be coming soon. Can't think about it too much right now because I haven't finished. You know, I still got 18 more to go, so I can't start rating them all right now. You know, until I've seen, because some of them might be awesome. I know freaking Beastie Boys video anthology is going to be in there, so, you know, but who knows? Maybe The Blob might. Maybe I Know Where I'm Going might. Maybe Black Narcissus might. Maybe Give Me Shelter might. You know, or maybe, what's another one? Or maybe Qui-Gon might be. You know, who knows what's happening, you know, the next couple. So, yeah. So, anyway, that's what's coming up. And man, we've made this video way longer than it should be. But anyway, there's a lot to talk about, and I probably could have shown you all this, you know, tomorrow with The Harder They Come, but let's just get it all out in the open. Because it's been a while. It feels like it's been a while since we've done a video review, so, but anyway, here it is. So, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments. Please continue to do so and tell your friends if you want. And, you know, like I said, Hamlet, you know, don't kiss your mother on the lips. Don't kiss your mother on the lips. And yeah, and then yeah, so the collection's growing. Go to Barnes & Noble and buy yourself some Criterion. I definitely want to get like Fishing with John probably next, or Chasing Amy. Chasing Amy is only $5, so I suggest everybody gets that one. But yeah, Fishing with John, I gotta get that one. Charade, Diabolique, Black Orpheus, Brazil, they're all on the list. Those are all ones I definitely want to get in that box of Criterion. Alright, so that's it. That's it. Done. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for The Harder They Come with Jimmy Slay. Good night, sweet prince. Anyway.